to Grimm's Case of Horror. My name is Grimm. This is you know him for all things horror movie related and TV show related. And today, this is the final part of my Pretty Little Liars series. I review each season of Pretty Little Liars, and now is the big finale. This is where I rank each season of Pretty Little Liars from the worst to the best. And yeah, I've enjoyed this series a lot. It took me a while to watch all of the seasons, and I had a great time doing it. Well, maybe a little bit in the middle, around season 5 through 7, it was a little difficult, but other than that, I've enjoyed getting to know all these characters, seeing their journeys from Arya, Spencer, Hannah, Emily, Ava. I forgot the rest of the characters from the Perfectionists. Miranda, Caleb. I forgot the characters in Ravenswood as well. and Imogen, Tabby, Farron, Noah, and Mouse. I've had such a great time getting to know all these liars, these characters, and really getting to relate and go through all these mysteries with them. And now it's time to say goodbye, farewell. I hope we get some sort of next installment within this franchise. Either renew Original Sin in Summer School, get a third season to that, or just some sort of like reunion special. Anything, just get the OG liars in the liars from Original Sin, bring them together into like one special, one movie. I feel like a lot of the Pretty Little Liars fans would love that. So without further ado, let's get into it. And first we have 11th place, which should be a shocker to many of y'all, but it is Ravenswood. And I really wanted to enjoy Ravenswood a lot, but there was just too much going against it. Underdeveloped characters, underdeveloped plot. It really felt like there was no quality put into this, or any care put into this show at all. I love Caleb Rivers as a character. I think Tyler Blackburn as a lead was amazing, and he should have been. I feel like the producers and writers did him dirty, putting him as the star of the show and not giving him a good quality, and not giving him a show with some great quality, because he was amazing. It's just like Rachel Zegler was Snow White. She was amazing, but they can only work with so much, and I loved him, I love Miranda, and I love the vibe that they were going with the show, but I wish that they had just cared about the show a little bit more. It felt like they couldn't multitask this show and Pretty Little Liars at the same time, and I felt like that's why this show did so bad. But, I mean, it did make for some fun times, getting to see Caleb interact with, like, paranormal spirits in, like, a gothic city, town, and, man, the show just deserved a lot more. Coming into season 5, I'm not sure how the fandom, like sees all these seasons besides like Ravenswood and Perfectionists, because season 5, like, I really wanted to like it, especially after I really enjoyed season 4, but this show felt nothing but filler and substance, because I didn't know this until after I finished the show, but basically this show was supposed to end in season 5. I believe Sasha or someone said it in like some panel or at some convention, and this show was supposed to end with season 5, but they got renewed for 2 more seasons, and so they had to try and stretch it out and make a story, because they already knew what they were going to do with the first 5 seasons. But so they had to come up with something new and something to extend the story out. And I felt like that's what happened with the season, is they filled it with a bunch of filler, and they didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know what to put into it, and that's why it just felt so messy. It felt like we weren't going anywhere. There were lots of plots that didn't get fulfilled. We didn't get a conclusion or resolution to them. I feel like that's why the season felt so empty. It felt so stripped away from what made this show what it is. And like, I still watched it, I still paid attention because I love Mona. I wanted to see like who killed her, who killed her. And I was really interested to see how people would respond to Allison being back. But then she basically disappeared because she got arrested, and so she was basically gone for a lot of that season because of that. It was like she came back and then she disappeared again. It almost felt like they brought her back, but then they got renewed for 2 more seasons, so they're like, oh no, wait, let's take her out again. Like, I wonder what Sasha felt like when, I mean, she was in the season a lot more, but she was also, like, not part of the group, really. Not in the second half, at least. And so I wonder how she felt when she found that out. But yeah, season 5, it was just barely watchable, but it did have some unpredictable twists and emotional storytelling, and it just the only thing that, like, keeps you watching is wanting to see where the story takes these characters. If you're watching the show, you're going to want to see what happens in season 6 or 7, so you'll get through this to get to season 6 and 7. Maybe you shouldn't, and that's what I'm getting to next, because in 9th place we have season 7. And so season 7, it provides a great fitting conclusion for the series, but it's just so crazy and over the top. The reveal of of Spencer having having a twin sister, and just everything connecting her family to the dealer and his family is just so over the top. And I think it was said that Tryon was the only person who knew about Spencer having a sister throughout season 6 and 7. She kept that from the whole cast. That just makes the reveal and the twist so much better, because she was playing Spencer this whole time, and she was able to show she had no idea. And then just throughout the season, her versatility from like not being playing it all as she didn't know, and then being able to play her sister, which that British accent that she does is still so funny to me. And yeah, the plot twist, it doesn't make sense, and like the explanation that they had made sense enough, but it just was really messy. But like I said, if you're gonna go out, why not leave with a big and unforgettable way? And I feel like this is what they gave us. And it's just one of the things, it's almost like a guilty pleasure type of thing, where basically it's not good, but you still love it, you know? And that's how I feel about this. It's like, you know it's not good, but you'll watch it anyway because you love these characters, and you want to see how this show ends up. And when you do rewatches, you'll be like, yeah, it probably wasn't the show's best moments, but you still love it for what it is. And that's what I view season 7 and 6 as. And right after season 7, we have season 6 in 8th place. And first off, I just want to say, I still feel like it was really odd that they cut season 6 in half, with the first part being with the first part taking place after season 5, where they go to the dollhouse and everything after getting arrested, and then the second part being a 5-year time jump, which just seemed really odd and really out of place to me, because I feel like that would have been something you do in a reunion special, like I mentioned before, like I mentioned in the intro. It's just something that you just don't do. It just felt so out of place and so awkward. And I was like, what? This time jump? What? You're giving us a time jump? I had no idea this was coming. And then I start the next episode, I'm like, huh? What? This is what's happening in this show? We're skipping 5 years? And it just felt so weird. This would have been so much better if it was like the Teen Wolf movie, or like the Zoe 102 movie, or like the iCarly reboot, where you wait a bunch of years and then you do the story and reveal that Spencer had a sister all those years ago, and she came back to seek revenge. That's the type of thing that you make with this. And I feel like that's why it just didn't work. You didn't wait enough time before doing the time jump. And I will say, the time jump at that time did make the series feel new and like rebranded, but a lot of the storylines that they used just felt really recycled. Like a lot of the material, a lot like the themes, the storylines, the subplots, they all just felt really recycled to make feel brand new. And it's like when you look at a fast food ad and then you go and get it and it looks nothing like it does in the picture. That's what I feel like with this. They made it all look brand new, but it was just the same old recycled bullcrap. And that's what I felt like. And that's why this season is in, and that's why season 6 is in 8th place. In 7th place, we have season 3. Now, season 3, I think there's a big like jump between seasons from 8th place and lower to 7th place, because season 3, I felt like it was just below season 2 when it came to quality. It just felt a little underwhelming. They executed the twists and like the revelations really well, but it just felt a little more loose than the other 2 seasons, and just many of the subplots in the season I was not interested in. In the season, we get the reveal of Toby being A, which was such a big like reveal. And I felt backstabbed by that, by the way. I think I said that before. I felt really backstabbed and really betrayed by that. And just seeing Spencer go through that emotional turmoil that she did. And that's basically what made the season for me. It's just seeing Spencer go through that, and to go through that character development that she needed. And so I feel like the only 3 things that kept me interested are the 2 overarching plots and Spencer's character development. Like, it's like what kept me interested in this show. That kept me watching this season, because I think everyone else were dealing with relationship issues. Well, Spencer was, but like hers was more connected to the overarching plot. You had Arya balancing Ezra and some other guy, I forgot his name, and then you had Hannah and Caleb, and then Emily and Paige, and you also had Emily dealing with coping with Maya's death, and I felt like the reveal of like who stole Allison's body was just underwhelming. And so in 7th place after you put season 3. In 6th place, we have the Perfectionists. I really enjoyed the Perfectionists. I feel like this show is underrated. It is a bit forgettable, but is mostly underrated, and I feel like it wasn't done enough justice. It should have been given a second season, but I feel like if I feel like if streaming was a bigger thing around this time, which I think it was actually. I feel like if this show went to streaming instead of onto ABC Family or wherever it went freeform, it would have done a lot better. But especially when let me see. Yeah, because this show came out in 2019, and I feel like if they just would have put it on streaming, whether it was Netflix, I don't think HBO Max was a thing yet. If they would have just put it on Netflix, I feel like it would have done a lot better. But because cable was still a big thing, they just put it on ABC Family or Freeform, and aired it on there. I feel like that was a mistake. It would have done a lot better on Netflix, and a lot of people would have watched it, I feel like. But the idea of taking characters like Allison, Spencer, Mona, these people who care so much about how they're perceived, and they just want to be looked at as perfect and like without any flaws, and putting a bunch of these characters together, well, not Spencer, I feel like they should have added Spencer, but putting characters like that together, and in where they're trying to solve a murder, I feel like that was perfect for this franchise. I do feel like when they were starting to go off into this overarching, not government, but like agency that spied on the whole town, I felt like they were going a little bit too crazy and messy, but or they were starting to get a little bit ahead of themselves. But regardless, I think this show kept up what the original franchise had with the suspense. It had a lot more deeper themes and storylines, and overall was just really solid and very interesting and engaging for me. Again, I just wish we would have gotten another season to wrap up the story, since the season 1 didn't feel concluded. I will say that. It felt like we were left off on a cliffhanger, and then we just didn't get the second season. But like I said, The Perfectionists, I really enjoyed it. I'll probably rewatch this again at some point. It left a nice lasting impression. It made me think about the themes afterwards, like trying to be perfect for like the people around me, and like worrying about how people perceive me. Those types of like themes and thoughts. But also with its compelling characters, intriguing mysteries, and exploration of deeper themes, it just remains a captivating chapter of the Pretty Little Liars franchise. But this is the season what actually got me back into this franchise, because my friend Issa, I think I mentioned this a few times, she's the one who got me into this franchise again, because she wanted to watch this show with me. So I watched Original Sin, then Summer School, and then I started watching the original series again to get ready for the third season, but then it got canceled, and I already planned to make these videos and everything, so that's why I'm still making them, and this is going to be, and like, it's been an emotional journey. Watching Original Sin, and then watching Summer School with my best friend, and then watching the original series to get ready for the next season that was going to come out, but then it got canceled, and I felt really sad about that. But man, Summer School was so fun, because it basically gave off Friday the 13th vibes, which Friday the 13th is one of my favorite horror franchises of all time, and seeing Tabby's journey from season 1, which was Original Sin, to Summer School, and with the season revolving around her, it just felt more relatable and personal to me, because I see a lot of like myself in Tabby, because she's a big horror movie lover like I am, but also like because of her personal experiences, what she has to go through. I just really felt related to that, and just how she is strong, and like and her resilience when going through life, and making it seem like nothing's wrong, and like basically masking it with jokes and humor, and like her love for horror movies. It just felt everything that I can relate to, and her discussing her love for horror films doubles as a metaphor for her processing of her fears and anxieties. But I feel like I'm talking about her character way too much. Sorry, I just love Chandler as Tabby so much, but I also love how much the show just feels like an 80s slasher, because of the eerie gothic tone that was established in Original Sin, and so many callbacks to old horror movie slashers, but also this show still feels like Pretty Little Liars within its tone, within its foundation, and exploring these darker themes of SA identity even further than the original series did with Emily's character. They really dive more deep into. We literally had a Pride episode within this season. So and even at some points this season did feel a bit campy and cheesy, but I felt like it felt that way because that's how the Friday the 13th and like the Nightmare on Elm Street movies felt like later in their sequels, and it just felt like that, to be honest, and that's what I loved about it. It was a compelling multi-layered mystery slasher. And in this summer, in a few months, when it's like July, I'll probably watch this season again, just because of how much I enjoyed it and how much it feels like, and how nostalgic it feels to those 80s slasher movies. So that's why I put Pretty Little Liars Summer School in 5th place. In 4th place, we have Pretty Little Liars Season 2. And season 2 builds on the suspenseful foundation from the first season, exploring deeper emotional and psychological themes. And I feel like this season was crucial for setting the show's signature mix of mystery, drama, and suspense. Because the first season felt like just the beginning of what was to come. And this show, and the second season felt like it was building off of that, and not really making it above or better, but like just maintaining what the first season started. And that's what it felt like. It felt really tight, tense, suspenseful, like, and put together. And I really missed after, I think season 4 was the last where I felt like this, where it was really intense, and like the atmosphere was really intense and frightening, that you really felt scared for our liars and the characters, and the things that A was doing to make them like isolate themselves, make them feel more alone, even though they had each other, and like everything that was revealed with like the Nat team. But yeah, I just felt like season 2 just intensified the A storyline, especially with this reveal of Mona being A. I felt like using season 2 to reveal A was perfect, because you're not like stretching the storyline out anymore. Because that's what season 5 felt like. Season 5 felt like they were stretching it out. With this, it felt like they knew what they were doing, and it felt like they knew how to execute it, and they knew how to keep viewers more engaged and invested, and which is to dive deeper into the themes and maintain the suspenseful tone, but also explore these characters deeper, give them better development, and tie it to the overarching plot and mystery, which the season did. And that's why season 2 is in 4th place. Now, after watching season 4, I had debated whether season 4 was better than season 1, but I just couldn't do it. So season 4 is in 3rd place, and yeah, this season just felt like a big event. It felt better than season 2. Like, just like the thought of Allison is probably alive, just like that mid-season finale, like episode where like we see that Allison is still alive, and like it's like a Halloween type episode. And then they also made it like a backdoor pilot for Ravenswood at the same time, and without making it feel too much and too crowded. They were able to execute it in a way to where it didn't feel overwhelming. It felt just right and just perfectly executed. The themes, the plot, the performances from the cast, and just everything building up to that moment, and just the payoff after that moment. Like the storyline with Hannah and her mother, with Hannah trying to prove that her mother was innocent, Spencer like thinking that she might have killed Allison. Those are major parts of the plot that were really interesting and like made you really invested, because they were emotional, they were relatable. Seeing Spencer toggle with herself about whether she could have killed Allison or not, or that, and then also seeing Emily become more fierce and be able to stand up for herself more. Like, it felt like it was all just so careful. The season was just each character's arcs in the season felt carefully crafted, and each of their journeys just felt more relatable and more engaging, and they were all basically tied to the overarching plot. And after not really enjoying season 3 that much, I was really doubtful about this season, but man, did they turn it around and really win me over with season 4. And so, season 4 is in 3rd place. Moving into 2nd place, we have Original Sin, which is, I debate whether Original Sin was better than season 1 of the OG series, but again, I just couldn't do it. But I just love how the things in Original Sin are multi-layered and deeply intertwined. And the idea that the actions and decisions of their mothers from like a decade earlier coming back, and now they have to pay and they have to answer for their mother's actions when they were like their age, like that was just a crazy concept, and they were able to pull it off and make it feel relatable, deep, and make you feel engaged into it, but also making a slasher with this Michael Myers and Scream tone to it, which they just killed it. And basically only have like 10 episodes to introduce us to these new liars, and also deliver such an amazing story with an amazing direction. It was just all well crafted, balancing the moments of intense suspense with character-driven scenes. And the only drawback for Original Sin was the fact that it was only 10 episodes. Pretty Little Liars season 1, I believe, was 16 episodes, so they had more time to develop these characters and introduce us to them. And I felt like that's why this series, this first season, kind of lacked, because there was not enough or more development to these characters. And they did what they could with the 10 episodes that they had. But even with the skillful mix of personal stories of the characters with the overarching mystery and creating such a strong, engaging narrative, I have to put Original Sin in 2nd place, and in 1st place we have season 1 of Pretty Little Liars. Season 1 is the OG series, and nothing tops the original most of the time. And And that goes for Pretty Little Liars as well. Season 1 is what introduced us to the mysterious and suspenseful town of Ravenswood, and introduced us to the assailant of A, and started this series of combining relatable teenage experiences with a chilling mystery. And it was what set the foundation for this show. With its compelling themes, solid performances, and atmospheric direction that captures the eeriness and tension of a town cloaked in secrets. And this season is just the best with pacing, revealing secrets, and introducing context clues at just the right moments to keep you invested without making it all feel heavy and overwhelming. And how every episode ends with a cliffhanger, it keeps things intense and makes you want to keep watching, even if there will be consequences. But you're willing to do that because this show is so good, because you want to keep watching. And Original Sin did that. Season 4, Season 2, they did that. But Season 1, it did it the best. The ending sequence of Spencer confronting Ian was so intense to watch, and you felt scared for her. That made you invested to keep watching. I clicked onto the Season 2, Episode 1 right after because of how invested I was, how scared I was, how much I wanted to keep watching. And Season 1 was just perfectly executed, and it was well balanced, and the performances, man, it's difficult for me to say whether the OG Liars or the Liars in Original Sin and Summer School are better, because both are so good, and I love both. Like, I can't pick between the two. But yeah, the chemistry between the girls in both are just amazing. But again, I have to give it to Season 1 of Pretty Little Liars, the OG series, because and also they didn't have to dive deep into, and plus the issues that the girls were facing in the first season weren't as complex and deep as they had to go in the other seasons. And so it felt relatable. It didn't feel oversaturated. It felt simple, and it felt so simple, and they were able to execute the first season in such an intense and compelling way. And so I give Season 1 first place. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe if you are new, and join the Empire, and turn post notifications on to get notified when I do post again. Let me know what you thought about this whole show, this whole franchise, in this ranking down below. Let me know what your favorite season was, what your ranking of all these shows are. Man, I really hope we get another show, or another installment, or just something in the Pretty Little Liars franchise. Because, man, just talking about the show, I want to rewatch it again. I want more of this franchise, and I hope we get it. Also, let me know some feedback. Let me know what I can work on. What other shows, what other movies do you want me to see me review? But the next one that was on the wheel is Evil Dead. You heard that right. So I'm going to be watching all the Evil Dead movies and the TV show, and I'm going to be reviewing and ranking them from the worst to the best. Starting off with Evil Dead, then Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Ash vs. Evil Dead, all 3 seasons. Then I'll do the remake, Evil Dead 2013, Evil Dead Rise, the reboot, and then, yeah, that will be what I will be doing next. And I hope you all are excited for that. I'm so excited to check out those movies out. I've been wanting to watch the Evil Dead franchise for so long now. And all my socials are down in the description below. I will have my Blue Sky, my Instagram, my TikTok down there. You can follow me all down there. I don't know how long TikTok's going to be available for, but if it comes back again after April 10th or April 5th, I forgot when it's supposed to be banned again, but I will be over there whenever it becomes available again, if it ever does. So I'll have links down below in the description so you can check out Pretty Little Liars, the original series, Perfectionists, Original Sin, Summer School, Ravenswood. I will have links down below so you can check them out. And yeah, hope you enjoy, and check out Pretty Little Liars, the whole franchise, right now.